Hey YouTubers, how are we? Welcome back to the channel. Simon B here. Hope you're keeping safe out there. Some of you may have seen on social media that I bought another motorbike, didn't I? 10 in the garage at the moment. I think there's probably 2 or 3 that you lot haven't even seen yet. What did we buy? Well, do you want to see it? So boys and girls, or lads and lasses, that's good, we're in north. I bought myself a Ducati Hypermotard S. So I've been looking for one of these for quite some time. I've had one before, I threw it up the road. Not a very good thing to do. And I fancied another one. The reason I wanted one, because I think this is going to be a next classic. It's the S version, so it has loads of carbon all over the place. This has got a set of termies on it, but to put it back to standard I need a set of standard tailpipes for it. It has carbon front mudguard, fork protectors, full Brembo brakes all over. All this rear shock, quite hard to get hold of is the S version. I think there's only 86 registered on the road now. These are one of the biggest things to be able to try and find are the original wing mirrors. People used to take these off because they thought they were crap. They're not brilliant, but if you don't have a pair of them, it's not standard, is it? So we've had it in the garage now, odd load of parts for it. The first thing that needs doing is the belt change. With all the paperwork on the bike, there was nothing in any record that said the belts have been changed. It's 2008, bought a couple of belts and we're going to change the belts on it. We're also going to drop the oil out of it. We're also going to change all the brake fluid on it. It probably needs a new front tyre because the front tyre is a bit old. The back one's quite new, so that's not an issue. So before we even take it out on the road, these belts need changing. So if you own a Ducati and you're a bit frightened of changing a couple of belts on your Ducati, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's relatively simple, a bit like the brake bleeding video we had the other week. Relatively easy. It's spanners, it's undoing and tightening up. That's all it is. So if you fancy a bit of Ducati Hypermotard belt changing, stick around and stay tuned. So as with anything with timing, preparation is key. As you can see, we've got the Hypermotard on the arbor stand. We've got it up out of the way, makes it a lot easier. Seats off. It also has the carbon cam belt covers, which have been taken off. We took all the spark plugs out. It has two spark plugs per cylinder on this, and we put it in second gear. And now we've turned the bike over and adjusted the timing. Some of you might better see we've got a timing mark there onto the engine casing, which is the dot there. And then you've also got on the horizontal thing, you've got a dot with the mark on the engine casing. Also what I have done, I've put another mark, so I've put 2 marks. These have a tendency of moving. We've done the same on the vertical one. The original mark is there with the yellow and the mark on the casing, and I've put another one mark there. There is another way of doing it. You can actually mark the belt. If you mark a tooth on the belt on the front and a tooth on the crankshaft pulley, and mark that onto the front sprocket and on the rear sprocket, and then once you take it off you can count the numbers of teeth all the way through to make sure you can get it that way. Swings and roundabouts really. The crankshaft is not going to move because you've got to move the pistons around the back wheel, so that's not going to move. So the only thing that is going to slightly move is this front here, because you can see there it does move. So when you put it back together is get the belt on, we'll go through that, and make sure that the teeth are on right this way, because that isn't going to move. So it's basically relatively the same as counting the teeth, because you'll work on the tight side. The tensioner is the lower one, the top one isn't. So between there and there it's going to be a fixed point. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get these belts changed. So we've undone the 2 bolts for the belt tensioner. You don't need to take them off. So now this belt is ready to take off. So the thing just slides off the front. You can see, because of the Democelli, whatever you call them, you can see the front pulley will move because it's in direct contact with the camshaft, because they don't have any springs on these valves, because it works on and off. It pulls the valve open and pushes it shut. So that has a tendency of moving. Crankshaft won't move. So when you do take them off, you can either mark them to make sure you don't get them mixed up, or put them in a place where you know they're not going to get mixed up. But the new ones actually have original Ducati stickers on them. So this procedure should be done every 2 years because they said because of the degrading of the rubber of the belt. There's nothing in the service manual to show that these belts have been changed. There's no cracking in them. A little bit wearing on the sides of the teeth, but better safe than sorry. So that's the bottom one off. Now what I need to do is to crack the tensioner. Oh, that's that tight. At the top. The good thing about the Hypermotard is that you don't have to take the tank off. On some of these air-cooled 1100cc ones, you have to take the tank off. So timing marks are all timed up. I just need to slide this off. It's going to be, I believe, for some reason it's harder on this one. There we go, it's coming out. There we go. That's off there. And take it off the bottom pulley. It's a bit awkward to come out, but they eventually do come out. Still got the Ducati printing on it, but for 100 quid for a pair of belts, it's just a peace of mind, isn't it? Really, it's so as you can see there, what I've done, so I've gone on the pulley side that doesn't move, because it between that point and that point and across there, it's a fixed point, so that has never moved because the two cylinders and back wheel and everything, and the two marks are still exactly where they are. Well, they're slightly off, but when you pull that to tighten it up, it brings the marks to it. So it's relatively the same as marking the belt and counting the numbers, because it's quite awkward to get the right one for the inside pulley. But because it's a fixed point that way, you know, you don't do it the other way because of all this slack. So you can't get it because that tightens it up and puts it back into the timing marks. Yeah. So it's relatively easy. If you've ever done one on a car, loads of people have done it. I've done it on my Land Rovers. And so one of the things I should have said is, once you take your belt off, just make sure that these bearings aren't grinding. There's a little bit of rust in the side in here, and there's a lot of dust. And I don't know whether if it's the dust off the belt or what exactly it is. A little bit of rust inside. It's not rusting where they usually rust. On these Hypermotards, the paint starts flaking off the engine. The paint on it is relatively okay. It's not brilliant, but it's better than the last one, the one I had, which was over 5 years ago, and it was really bad, but that was because of the weather here. So let's put the second one on. Fixed point, which is the top. So put the belt onto the pulley, and then there's only one place that this can slide onto. And then once it's tightened up, the marks are in the place where you need it to be. Easy as that. Now it comes to tightening the belts. There's two ways of making sure the belts are tight enough. You'll read on the internet regarding these air-cooled engines, they're tightened to a frequency somewhere between 90 and 110 megahertz, I think it is. So you can get some people may laugh at this. I've had people laugh at me and don't believe me. You can get a guitar tuner for your phone, and you can flick the belts, and that'll tell you if it's tight enough. The other way is, what I've been reading, is by taking a 5mm Allen key. The 5mm Allen key should be able to go under the tightening cam. It will go under with a bit of force, but you should be able to take a 5mm. they don't have to be that tight that you can play a tune off them. I'll do the vertical one first. So I've got a bit of a bar that all I'm going to do is to put it in the back, and then I'm going to just nip it up. So that's a 5mm. So let's say it needs a little bit of force and a little bit of wiggle to go through. So that looks about right. That's how easy that is. Nuts, 27 Newton meters, which is not that tight. So that's the vertical one done. Let's do the horizontal one, eh? So all we've done there is push the adjustable one up by hand, and then we'll have a look to see what the tension's like. Timing marks in the right place. She's a bit loose, then yeah, that's not bad, that actually. Not bad. I'm quite happy with that. So, tensioner bolts are now hand tight, 27 Newton meters. All they are. They're not horsed up. You don't need a scaffold bar, but they are, because it's only an aluminium engine. So they're 6mm. So if you're 2 Allen keys, spark plug spanner and a 6mm and a torque wrench, that's all you need to change the belts on a Ducati. I'll do it myself, why not? Can't be that hard, which it's not really, is it? Timing marks all in exactly the same place, crank marks in the right place, everything's tightened up. So before we put the cases back on, what I'm going to do, which is one of the things you should do, is I'm going to run the cylinders round, do a full rotation back to where it is to see if the marks are in the same place, and then we'll be quite happy with it. So it'll only go one way around. That's a few revolutions. So timing mark, timing mark, timing mark, timing mark, timing mark. So that's had 3-4 revolutions. There's no banging, there's no stopping. Everything's there, everything's torqued up, everything's right, everything's running. It should be. And cool. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All that. Again, all spark plugs back in. Everything's torqued up. We ran the pistons a few rotations round. Everything was okay, there was no hard stop, so everything's still in the right place, everything's good. Next thing to do is to start it up, make sure everything's okay, because next thing we're going to do is change the oil on it, but that'll be part 2. So we've opened the garage doors, stop it from so we don't get gassed out, and so everything's fine there. I've forgotten how noisy these Ducatis are. They sound like a what they sound like? They sound like a tractor. A tractor sounds a bit better than these, but they sound absolutely like a bag of nails, but they're just so much fun. So if you own a Ducati Hypermotard, or you own the Ducati Monster 749, I can't remember which ones they are. Like I said, I put a list below. There's a load of them somewhere. I think it was it 2010 they stopped using these engines. Exactly the same, dead easy to do. You can do this at home. Come on, boys and girls, you're right up for it now, aren't you? So you got YouTubers, what do you think of that? Dead easy, wasn't it? Changed the belts on an air-cooled 1100 Ducati. Don't have to be a Hypermotard. I believe the Monster, and there's a couple of other bikes, I can't remember, but I'll put a list down below of all the ones that are the same. They all use the same engine, all use the same belts, and it's relatively the same on all V-twins from the Ducati range. Don't be frightened of it. It's dead easy to do. 5 tools, it's all you need. So if you thought that was interesting, informal, and what's the other one? Interesting, informal, and knowledge-worthy. I don't know, knowledge-worthy. Please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, which most of you are that are watching my videos at the moment, 87% of you, just think of 87% of you, we have nearly 1,000 views a day. That'd be another 800 subscribers. So we're about 2,000 and a half subscribers. So please do us a favour, like I said last week, and the week before, that. Click that subscribe button, ring that bell. Every time I upload a video, you will get a notification of a video that's just been uploaded, which is usually 7:30 on a Saturday morning, which I've done for the last 2 years. If you haven't seen much of my videos, go and have a look at the back catalogue. We've done tours, we've done help and advice regarding bikes, we've done bike setups, we've done suspension setups. So yeah, thanks very much for joining us. Still humbled of all you people that are watching these videos. If there's anything you'd like to comment on, please comment down below. Anything you'd like to know, please comment down below. Next in the series of the Ducati Hypermotard, which will be plug change, fluid change, oil change, ready for the sun to come out. And we'll take this beauty out for a ride. Because if you've never rode one of these, one thing you need to do, everybody that's watching this video, one thing you need to do is to ride one of these. I'm telling you, these are one of the most fun bikes you will ever ride. You need to ride one. Not the new ones, the air-cooled, no ABS, no nothing. They're absolutely awesome machine. So, if you're out there riding, ride safe, keep safe and be safe. I think that's the one, isn't it? And as they say, we'll see you soon.